bicep exercise 2. This is going to be similar to what we did in week 3 with Rhett, but we're going to go single arm. So we're going to add a little bit of a core challenge combined with a little bit more of a focus on the mind muscle part of the side that we're working. As we've talked about before, when you go one side at a time, technically you can use a little bit more of your neurological energy to stimulate that side because all your motor units are being centered around firing to literally one part of your muscle as opposed to being split between two. So if you think about having a cup of water, if you're going both arms, your brain has to send the signal to both sides, and that's going to drain you more. If you're just going on one side, it's sending it all strictly to that part of the muscle or that arm. And so that's going to be able to increase your engagement just a little bit. So that's a little bit of a stimulation change. So the way you're going to get into position is whichever side you're working, you're going to align that shoulder up with the pulley. So I've got my elbow and my shoulder aligned with this pulley. I'm going to get into a lunge position. I'm in a staggered stance. I'm supinated. I'm going to tighten my abs. So I've got a rotation component of this that I'm being challenged with. I've got to engage my abdominals, my obliques to maintain this stabilization here. I'm trying to stay as square as I can, keeping my elbow behind my rib cage, tightening my bicep before I move, squeezing through the range, trying to maintain that supination, squeezing at the top, and then fighting it all the way down. Now, we're building this thing from the ground up. So it's super important that your base of support, that you have that down. So before you do anything, I want you to really pay attention to my feet. So I'm in this split stance. I'm on the ball of my back foot. I've got my heel lifted off the ground, and I'm basically positioned into a calf raise, and I'm driving this back leg into the ground because this is my support. If you're not supported on this, then the whole thing is going to fall apart. There's no way I can do this thing standing in this position here because I've got all this load pulling me back and into rotation. And if I'm not anchored, then my bicep has nothing to pull off of. So I've got to get my trunk grounded so that my bicep can be maximally engaged. So I'm going to have Rhett get into position. He's lining his arm up with that pulley. Excellent. Staggered stance. I'm going to start his time. This is a guess on the weight. So we're going to see what happens here. Perfect. Take your trunk position, lean it forward. Just there you go. You got it right there. So notice how he's keeping his elbow behind his rib cage. This is essential for this exercise because this is what's lengthening his bicep. And it's that length that increases the shortening, just like on the tricep we did. Good job. All right, I'm going to have you do a bad rep, and as you curl, allow your elbow to go forward. So that right there is what you want to avoid. This is right here is what most people do on this exercise. Once your elbow moves on this, it defeats the purpose of this entire thing. So I want you to focus on maintaining this position. Really good. 15 seconds. Scale of 1 to 10. And let's switch arms. So now when he switches sides, he's going to line this shoulder up, that cable. I'm going to switch my side here, sorry. Perfect. Leaning your trunk forward, I'm starting your time. So we're not resting between sides, we're going to keep going. And as this side is contracting, his other side is resting. Good reps. Elbows behind his rib cage, tightening before he moves. Scale of 1 to 10. Pause here, shift your hips back, lean your trunk forward a little bit more. There you go, right there. Excellent. Notice how he's not rotating his trunk as he moves. He's got 15 seconds. Pause right here for me. Last rep, tighten first. Making your bicep drive the entire motion. Squeeze at the top and then fight every inch coming back down. Really good. Let's switch sides again. Round 2, I'm going to drop this weight 1 notch. So we're going to decrease the weight to increase engagement. Time has started.